meeting the immovable object. The greatest professional athlete in the world today. Look at this. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I cannot believe Hogan would stoop that low. A flying elbow. Punch the leg. It's over. We have a new champion. Look out, the big splash. 1, 2. He got him. He got him. Unbelievable. The Warriors won the title. The boyhood dream has come true for Shawn Michaels. Here comes Steve Austin. Impossible. He's done the impossible. Nobody's ever broken it. He did it. He did it. Austin broke it.
WrestleMania. Hearts gonna be broke. Legends are gonna be made. Eagles will be shattered and asses are gonna be kicked.
What the hell's supposed to do with Cole? Oh my God! Lesnar making a shooting star press, and Kurt Angle rolled out of the way. Hey, look at this! Donald Trump! Donald Trump! Oh my God! The hostile takeover of Donald Trump on Vince McMahon has happened. He's got Undertaker up at his shoulders again! Not again! Going for a triple! A third act fight for the Undertaker! Brock Lesnar into the cover! Hooks the leg! The streak is over! WrestleMania! If you smell what The Rock is cooking!
WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
We do what is best for business, whether people like that or not.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. I don't remember what the hell I do anymore.
Nice save.
And now here are your hosts of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon and Lucas DeSangro.
That was probably one of the coolest experiences of my
Will you
life.
stop marking out over there?
Sorry.
Move over, kid. I'm taking your microphone.
You're shallow, you know that?
There's the sound of the bell. We are set to go on a WrestleMania weekend here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Lucas the intern. Are you pumped for WrestleMania after that?
Hell yeah! Sorry. No, I'm not sorry. It's WrestleMania. Hearts going to be broken. Dreams are going to be shattered. Asses are going to be kicked.
Yeah, I loved that from JBL. I think it was, WrestleMania X7, I think?
17,
From the,
yes,
from
it
the
was.
APA.
Yes, it was.
Man, we've got a lot to get into this hour. Of course, we're going to have our predictions starting to go wrong for WrestleMania play button tomorrow. And one thing that we were kind of kicking around, I kicked around a couple of days ago and hadn't really, I wasn't sure where it was going, but I kind of brought it out there to the people. We'll throw it out there to you and to others as well, and we've got a few samples of it. But want to know, what is your favorite WrestleMania theme of all time? Now, a couple of them were kind of played in the samples there. Of course, the Showcase of the Immortals, which was used primarily from WrestleManias 6 through 8. And then, of course, as a lot of people know, the Linda McMahon entrance theme WrestleMania, which was used primarily from WrestleManias 10 through 13, something along those lines. So, I mean, I've got a few samples we'll be throwing out there, and we'll be kind of kicking that around, going as far back as WrestleMania 1 and even to some more recent ones here. So a lot of things to kick around with that. Gosh, we're going to be rolling right on out of here at 1 o'clock and making our way down to the Monster Factory. We'll be talking about that coming up a little bit later. All kinds of news. Of course, the Hall of Fame ceremony tonight. We'll get into great detail with that. But probably the big story that made mainstream news earlier this week: Brock Lesnar re-signing with WWE.
I got the alert and I turned on SportsCenter, something I rarely do these days. But, it was very interesting.
Yeah, WWE World Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar announcing on Tuesday night on ESPN that he has re-signed with WWE and will remain after WrestleMania 31. He also announced that he is retired from UFC and mixed martial arts.
Yep.
The Associated Press also reporting that Lesnar's deal 3 years in length.
Wow.
Yeah, you did not know that, I take it, based on your reaction.
No, I didn't.
Huh, interesting. Yeah, so, that'll put Lesnar with WWE until he's 40.
Wow. So do you think he's still going to be wrestling mostly part-time? A lot of people are saying now
part-time.
Part-time. A lot of people are saying that now that Lesnar's re-signed, they're saying that he's going to keep the title. Do you think he's going to do you think he's going to wrestle more? Wrestle a little bit more. I'm not saying like every night, but do you think he's going to wrestle a little bit more if he keeps the title on him, or?
I'm sure he'll remain in some capacity that it's some sort of a special attraction contract.
So it's not like he'll be wrestling every pay-per-view?
Hard to say.
Because they could at least do that and have Paul Heyman, just talk. Because that has worked so far.
Yeah.
He is money. He is amazing. There's no way that couldn't work. He's only wrestling like 12 times a year. That would maybe that wouldn't be that bad. I'd take that contract.
I think a lot of people would, especially what he's making full-time money, but wrestling part-time.
Said he likes it very much as well, so, that could definitely work. Definitely work.
Can't say that I blame him on that. One other thing we should get into, I mentioned it earlier, but tonight, the Hall of Fame.
Very fun show.
Well, it's going to be running on diesel power.
Yeah,
among other things. Yeah, Kevin Nash being added to the 2015 WWE Hall of Fame class. Nash, he's going to be inducted by Mick Foley.
Really?
Which I know was a bit of a surprise. I figured if anybody was going to induct him, it would either be Scott Hall or Shawn Michaels. Or even maybe Triple H, one of the members of the Clique.
Yeah, that would have definitely, that would have been a very good choice. Sorry, I'm sorry.
I know you're working on some technical things back here.
Trying to find out which headphones are working in this station.
Anyway, Nash joining the rest of the class, Tatsumi Fujinami, easy for me to say. Well, he was a standout in New Japan Pro Wrestling, so I'm sure there are some members of the IWC who know a lot more about his career than I do.
I can think of a few.
-5 stars. Larry Zbyszko in the class tonight. Also, the Bushwhackers.
That's I'm trying to figure out how that's going to be received by the fans. You think any of them are going to have the Mahonies to boo, you think?
No. They were a fun act, and it's not... if there was an actual building, like a Cooperstown for baseball or a Canton, Ohio for football, or where is it, Toronto for the Hockey Hall of Fame, you'd think I'd know that one, eh?
Yeah.
Or what's the fourth one? Springfield, Massachusetts for that orange bouncy ball.
Ah, yes. Yes.
That I don't know a whole heck of a lot about, as we discussed last week.
You should at least know a little bit about college basketball, considering your alma mater is going to be playing at Madison Square Garden, which is another historical place in WWE history.
We've digressed like 38 times here. Alundra Blaze, the Warrior Award winner Connor the Crusher Michalik, Rikishi, celebrity inductee Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the headliner Macho Man Randy Savage.
I feel like it's a packed house. Even like WrestleMania 30, I think, because it was based mostly on, especially with the pay-per-view and the Hall of Fame, it seemed like there was less inductees and matches last year, and this year they packed it to the rafters.
Well, I wonder if that's a reflection of the product, because I know there has been a lot of debate about some of these names that are being put in there. I know we've been going back and forth on it, and usually around this time we get into the who is the most glaring omission.
Yeah.
And over the last 3 years, the three biggest have been pretty much taken care of in Bruno Sammartino, Ultimate Warrior, which I'm sure some people were debating on that, but I don't think there were as many as some others, and now Randy Savage.
Yeah. You really think, though, like, who... I mean, next year they could easily, if Undertaker's not going to wrestle anymore, this has got to be his last match, so they could easily put Taker in. What I'm wondering, though, the only question I have would... He'd obviously be delivering the speech as Mark Calloway, right? You know?
I don't know, and I don't think that it's necessarily a given that tomorrow night is Undertaker's last match. Suppose he has some sort of a retirement match in his home state of Texas front of the 100,000 plus inside AT&T Stadium in suburban Dallas, Texas.
Who would he face, though? Who do you think would be I mean, we obviously are going to have a great match with Undertaker and Bray Wyatt. Who do you think we could have face the Undertaker in his last match? I don't know, maybe somebody who we've never seen face the Undertaker at WrestleMania. And I
mean, depending on what goes on with Lesnar, I mean, the possibilities are endless. You could have him go for revenge against Lesnar for beating the streak.
I'm thinking,
and have him maybe put his career on the line.
Who, Lesnar?
No, Taker.
But then Taker would lose again.
Well, yeah, it's kind of in the same way that when Ric Flair's career was on the line, we kind of knew that it was going to be the end at some point, the stuff in TNA notwithstanding.
Yeah.
When Shawn put his career on the line against Taker at WrestleMania and Shawn lost, you kind of knew Shawn was going to lose, or at least you had a streak versus career.
Yeah, but at the same time, and I know they're trying to say Brock versus Rock for WrestleMania 32. I'd love to see, because we never saw The Rock versus Undertaker at Mania. We never saw Austin versus Taker at WrestleMania. I mean, think about it. Austin and Taker, they're both, Austin is it's very unpredictable. Most likely it would be a no that he won't be wrestling. But, home state of Texas, two born and raised in Texas, you have their match, Taker's last match, and pretty much a one-off with Austin at WrestleMania 32 in Dallas. That would be amazing.
But then who do you have win that, though?
True.
That's the other problem. It would probably end up being Austin just because Taker doesn't mind losing. He doesn't mind giving back to the business, but I don't know. What rub does Austin get when he's already arguably one of the top 3 superstars in the history of the sport?
True. I heard a rumor that Goldberg wants to come back and face Austin, but that's Goldberg. I saw I
think that ship sailed at least a decade ago.
True. I mean, I do want to see Goldberg come back, though. He did say he wants to make a return match, just a one-off again. And
but Goldberg's another one who's now in his late 40s.
How old is Taker?
Taker just turned 50 this past Tuesday.
I mean, he's still going to be wrestling at the most one more match tonight. That could definitely work. Could definitely have Goldberg come back and wrestle a match.
I'm looking at the Facebook feedback chiming in already. First of all, I appreciate the "We Are Live" mention that Joseph throws on there. Robert putting in that WrestleMania montage used to open the show. My favorite WrestleMania theme. See, I'm not the only one. I'm really digging the showcase of the Immortals, but I want to throw it to some of you out there, and we'll get to a couple of them in a little bit here. Some of the themes of the past. I've got some old ones, some newer ones. I kind of kicked it around earlier this week and got a couple of responses. Actually, John from Northeast Philly chiming in, anything involving AC/DC or Metallica, which those came in a little bit later, which, I don't know, I guess my gripe is that nowadays you have 4 or 5 official themes of WrestleMania each year.
We have like...
I know, this year it's 2.
Yeah, 2.
You have the 2 this year, which thumbing through my notes because I can't remember all of them at this point. My brain's a sponge, but not that much. You have Rise by David, is it Guetta?
Guetta, yeah.
And Money in the Power by Kid Ink. Those are your 2. But I mean, you go back to WrestleMania 28, and there were 5 themes that year.
I think my favorite one out of that year was probably Invincible.
Oh, yeah, Invincible with Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad. But, yeah, we'll have some little samples and snippets of that. And we'll take care of some business. We'll come back. We'll get to the phones. I know that got a couple of you hanging on there. We'll get our predictions certain to go wrong. We want to find out your favorite WrestleMania themes. Still have Today in Wrestling History. We've got birthdays. We've got the factory to talk about. Gene Simmons I did say predictions. Gene Simmons of Kiss teaming up with WWE.
Well,
yeah, we'll get into that story coming up in a little bit. Triple H downplaying the need for time off for wrestlers. And WWE announcing a new deal with Tap Out. Yeah, a lot to talk about. I told you, it's WrestleMania
Tap
week.
Out like the
apparel company.
The apparel. Oh wow.
Yeah, the clothing company.
Wonder if CM Punk's not going to get a lot of... CM Punk thinks he's going to get a better deal with his T-shirt sales. To quote Paige, think again.
Think again. Or you could quote Michaels from 92. I don't think so.
I see what you did.
Oh, that's terrible. All righty, we'll be back. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your hosts, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
You know, who better to hype you than you, right?
Doesn't always have to be about you.
But it is about WrestleMania. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Lucas the intern.
How you doing?
Oh, we're doing fantastic. It's WrestleMania weekend.
I am extremely excited. You know, there were some things I wanted to go over for Raw. A lot of people were upset with the ending for the Go Home show, but I gotta say, the first half of it was money. You know, they were doing a very good job. They've been doing a good job trying to, at least the past 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, trying to build up WrestleMania.
They got serious?
They got serious, yeah. They got serious.
As opposed to accent? No. That old gag. All right, we'll get back to that in a bit. But I know Joe from Trenton's been hanging on here, so let's go ahead and bring him up. Joe, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Hey, thank you very much, Fearon. How you doing?
Not too bad.
Good. You and Lucas, the tag team champions of Wrestling Radio. Just figured I'd put that out there for you real quick before we get started.
We're the tag team champions.
You guys need a championship belt. I know I'm gonna keep this quick because I know you guys are probably up against it and whatnot.
Well, I mean, we just came out from it, so but you got a little time. You're good.
All right, very good. 3 predictions real quick. First of all, Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker. It's going to be Bray Wyatt all the way. He's going to take it. That's 100%. That's fact. Undertaker doesn't stand a chance. He's going to lose again. He's going to be 21-2.
All righty. I'm not tipping my hand on the predictions just yet till we get to that segment, but I certainly have no problem taking feedback in any way, and who knows, you might even find a way to change my mind.
And the second one, now you're going to like this one, the Intercontinental Ladder match. That's going to steal the show. The 2 people that are going to finish will be Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler, and that's going to be the best match on the show, guaranteed. I can tell you right now, it's going to be the greatest match you're ever going to see between these two, because it's been a build-up, the promos, the little skirmishes here and there. They're not going to disappoint. It's going to be fantastic.
Can't disagree with that even a little bit.
And the final one, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I'm a big fan of Roman Reigns, and I didn't jump on the bandwagon, people booing him like the Philadelphia fans did. No offense to any Philly fans out there, I'm just saying.
None taken.
But I will say that as bad as Roman Reigns is in the ring, and his look, and his charisma, and everything else, Brock Lesnar is going to destroy him, just like he did John Cena. Walk out of WrestleMania with that belt, and not only that, because he signed that contract, is going to hold that belt. I'm making a bold prediction well into SummerSlam 2015. What do you guys think about that one?
SummerSlam 2015?
Yeah,
I mean, that doesn't seem too terribly far-fetched. I think the question is who unseats him. That's I guess the...
You could go Daniel Bryan, but, I mean, you think about it. They've put down Roman Reigns, and they could build that matchup great, but, if Roman Reigns doesn't beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, then a lot of people are going to be saying, who's left? You can't give him to Cena unless Rollins cashes in.
Well, see, here's the thing. Right now, I can't see anybody beating Brock. I mean, first of all, the man, he's one of the very few guys, if any, that could stand out there when he shows up on Raw with the belt and just, look like a bad, well, you know what. I don't want to curse over the airwaves.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman does all the talking, and he just stands there with the belt, looks at the camera with that smirk, and says, yeah, I can pretty much kick anybody's you-know-what. I don't have to talk. I got the belt. I'm the man. He's just got that attitude. He's got that swagger. And if he needs to speak, I think if you've seen him on the appearances like on ESPN and things like that, I think he does a good job talking.
Yeah, he doesn't say much, but what he does say, it speaks volumes.
It makes an impact. It does.
So I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys. I know there's a lot of people wanting to chime in, but you guys enjoy WrestleMania. It's going to be fantastic. The time for talking is done. Tomorrow's the night, guys. Enjoy it.
All right. Thank you so much for the call, Joe. Well, the time for talking will be done in about 32 minutes because if we stop now, well, we'll make it to the Monster Factory in time, but we won't be able to fulfill our contractual obligations here to WBCB. So
well, you're under contract. I'm not, but I still want to make obligation, pay dues and stuff like that. So
I see what you did there.
Yeah, don't want to.
Yeah.
Make Matt Miro mad. Ooh, that was an alliteration right there. Wow.
Very good. Well, speaking of the Monster Factory, they're back in action this afternoon. They're down in Paulsboro, New Jersey, 541 Mantua Avenue. The doors open at 1, so you may be listening to us on the way down there, possibly. Who knows?
Maybe.
The action starts at 2 o'clock. You'll see Bandito Jr. facing Ring of Honor star Cheeseburger for the vacant Supersonic Championship.
You know what I like about Cheeseburger? Not only the fact that he's named after one of my favorite foods of all time, but also the fact that, his ring attire. I think his debut in the Monster Factory, he wore like a White Castle style.
The colors tended to match the White Castle logo.
And then the second time we saw him wrestle, he was dressed as in Burger King style colors. It's very. I like what he's doing.
It was creative.
I like his gimmick a lot. I really do.
Fair enough. Also, Good News Hughes takes on Chad Kensington from Paid in Full.
Ooh. Yay, we're gonna.
I don't know how many of these matches you know about or have seen, so I don't know if some of these are surprises or if I'm telling you stuff you already know.
I haven't.
You haven't looked over the card yet?
I look on the website and it's, when I look.
Well, they just announced the full card like a day or two ago, so.
Of course, me not checking again.
That's all right. You can this gives you instant reaction.
Yay!
That's always a good thing. Nick Camarado goes against Rhett Titus.
Yes. He's gonna kick.
You want Rhett Titus to be obliterated because Camarado definitely is a hoss.
Camarado's a man. He's my boy.
Your boy.
My boy.
Newcomer Funky White Boy. Speaking of boys, he squares off against Shaheem Ali.
Let's go, Shaheem.
The Bloodbound Warriors have issued an open challenge.
Yeah.
The tag team champions. Plus, there's the return of Party Rock Mark Cruz.
Yes. I wonder if we're going to see him confront his old partner.
His former tag partner. I don't know. It just says the return of Party Rock Mark Cruz. That's all I got. Also, QT Marshall, he goes up against former UFC fighter Matthew Riddle.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a big match.
Yeah.
And Clutch Adams defending his newly won Monster Factory Heavyweight Championship against 6-time All-American Billy Damiana.
You know what? I have to say it. Clutch Adams does not deserve that title. He does not.
Even though he beat Luis 2 out of 3?
No, because the 2 times he won, the one time was by disqualification, and he was the one that tried to use the chair on Luis.
Okay.
And the second time was when his partner Spanos came in and won the match for him.
With that surgically rebuilt forearm of his.
Yeah.
Oof. That scar is nasty.
Just out of nowhere, hits Luis with a chair once in the back, then in the head. Clutch Adams, I will come out and say it right now, and you can debate with me all you want. I
don't think he has too many words to debate with.
That's true.
Well, yeah. Anything past shut your mouth, he's got nothing.
Let's go, come on. Just, yeah.
Anyway, tickets for the Monster Factory, $15 for adults, $10 for kids 12 and under. For more info, go to monsterfactory.org. Should be a lot of fun. We'll be heading out there in about a half hour, pretty much right after the end of the show.
Hooray. Zoidberg impression.
Oh, goodness. I'm getting all kinds of feedback here, including from our program director, Matt Miro.
Oh, God. What did he say?
Well, he noted that I had... oh, gosh, do I really... I guess I should get into this story. One of our sales staff, Bill Redner, who's helped set us up with a few remotes, he's been very influential in the program since the beginning. Of this program 16 years ago, so there's a lot of history there. But he has been a lifelong fan of the little folks, of like the midget wrestling. And he's constantly asking, when are they gonna bring back midget wrestling? And so I was given this advertisement for.
I'm sorry, that impression was too good. I feel we're probably gonna get sacked for laughing at that, and yeah, but
no, because I just got a text. Thanks for the mention. But this coming Friday, April 3rd, there actually is going to be a midget wrestling event down in Essington, down by the Philly International Airport, at the deck at Harbor Point. I kid you not. 101 Taylor Ave, Essington, PA. Doors open at 7 p.m. this Friday, as they have it advertised here, half the size, twice the violence.
Wow.
And it features Hulk Hogan's Micro Championship Wrestling.
Wait, Hulk Hogan...
He in that little in-between period when he was done with TNA but hadn't quite come back to WWE yet, it was, I think, either a reality show or something on one of the networks. I barely remember it myself.
So it's still under the name of Hulk Hogan's
Micro Championship Wrestling.
Does he still run it, or?
I'm not sure.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot left to be desired.
Or not desired.
Or not desired, I guess.
I mean, it'd be interesting to watch, but I don't want to drive all the way down to Essington.
Well, plus it's a Friday night, and I know I'd have to be right back on the air here at WBCB doing the Chart Toppers Saturday morning.
Excuses. We don't feel like making the trip out this go.
Wow, thank you, Lucas Cage. Oh.
It's Luke Cage.
Oh, Luke Cage.
Like the Marvel character, okay? If you're going for my alter ego, but okay.
That wasn't what I was going for.
And to note, I didn't do that to emulate Danny Cage. I created that in 7th grade, okay? 7th grade, before I even knew about before I even came on the show. Disclaimer.
Good times.
Yes.
Look at you doing things your way. That's right. One of the themes from WrestleMania's past.
Nice
from
segue.
WrestleMania X7. One of my favorites.
Austin is shaking hands with Satan himself.
I know. So many. That's the thing. A lot of these songs also bring back memories from those events. It's kind of a nice little tie-in.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we've been kind of checking out now. Now, what are some of your favorites? Because I know, I've mentioned me being the old school guy that I am. I mentioned Showcase of the Immortals. I mentioned the I guess new generation WrestleMania theme.
Yeah. The first one, I mean, I did say I liked Invincible, but my all-time favorite at this point, and it's not exactly a theme song, but I don't know if you guys, or if you listeners out there remember, because this has stuck with me for a while, and I always watch this whenever well, not always, but I like to watch it a lot. It's the opening promo for the Daniel Bryan Triple H match, the song Monster by Imagine Dragons. It was, because the whole Exactly. Because the whole it just made the storyline so much better. It just everything
the underdog story of Daniel Bryan.
And it showed how he sort of became this. He went from being this shy, outgoing, but he wasn't quite ready to this. It changed him, and he's ready and pumped up, and it was awesome. It
reminds you of you. That's where you're going with this, isn't it?
I wasn't going to, but thank you. Okay, yeah, sure, we'll go with that. Yeah, I mean, and just the way it showed from that one. The thing that got me out of that package was when it was it went from Daniel Bryan doing the yes chant with short hair, no beard, to then two slides later, it's him now with the long hair and the whole beard, showing the cycle
transition, the progress, if you will.
Yeah.
And even if you won't.
And I think my other favorite was from WrestleMania 19 by Limp Bizkit, called Crack Addict.
I know. I just love how I have these just right here. It's amazing what happens when you actually do a little bit of homework.
And it's also because it showed it was also the video package setting up between
Austin The Rock,
the final chapter
of the trilogy.
And it just whenever I hear this song, I automatically think of Hogan, Rock and Austin just trading blows back and forth, and it's just
how about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, just throwing little samplers out there.
And my other favorite my final favorite has got to be from WrestleMania 30, the John Cena Bray Wyatt match. It's from one of my favorite artists out there today, Legacy by Eminem.
Yeah, we heard this quite a bit last year.
It was, I loved it. It was, first of all, I was one of my favorite songs before they decided to make it a theme song. And then when they made it that, I completely marked out.
You marking out? No.
I know, right? It's crazy. This is my legacy. Never in a million.
That's why I included it in the opening, the open of the show.
I know.
I said quit marking out. You were just sorry. Now you'd have more undisparaging or disparaging words that
no, I'm not going to
unsavory words that are disparaging.
I'm not going to say anything mean this time,
until we go to commercial break.
Yeah, at least until we're out of earshot from the listeners.
That'll be for the car ride down to the factory.
Oh yeah, just really? Okay, I see how it is. You beep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Banned.
All right, let me get into some news and notes here before we move on too terribly. We'll get our predictions certain to go wrong for WrestleMania coming up in the next segment. I know we talked about it a little while ago. The Aguayo Jr. cause of death was determined. I know that horrible story from last week. El Hijo del Perro Aguayo, the lucha wrestler who died in ring during a match last week, was determined to have died of trauma to the neck and a cervical fracture. Layman's terms, broken neck. According to the state prosecutor's office, and the same office has opened an investigation into possible manslaughter. But it's just an investigation. I know a lot of people have been coming after Rey Mysterio, saying that why would essentially blaming him when we don't know exactly what caused the fracture, the injury. It could have been from a landing. It could have been something having nothing to do with Rey. But for some reason, I guess because of his popularity, Rey Mysterio immediately has a target on him.
They and I'm not saying that it's understandable that people are angry and upset and frustrated and they in a time of grief and mourning, but they always want to point a finger at somebody, and they pointed it at Rey Mysterio. And it's a touchy subject, but I'm very sure, and I don't know for 100% of fact, but I'm pretty sure that it wasn't on purpose. That if it was because of Rey, I don't think he would have done it on purpose, because the point of professional wrestling, it may look like you're hurting somebody, but you're trying to actually make sure that they are okay.
Well, yeah, because if everybody's laid up, then who's going to wrestle?
Yeah,
that doesn't work out.
You want to make sure, it's just and it's sad to see when somebody packs their bags, then they don't come back. But it's not easy. Never is.
No, and that's, well, I mean, the lifestyle in general isn't, and that's part of what has led to a lot of clamoring for wrestlers possibly having segmented breaks throughout the year or time off. But Triple H, in an interview for USA Today, says, nah, not so much. That's right. Triple H was interviewed by USA Today's For the Win website and was asked about returning to the ring after a long layoff. He said, quote, "I got in the ring for the first time the other day and fell down for the first time, and it felt like my body exploded when I landed. It takes a little bit. You can train, but it's one of those things where experts, in inverted commas, of our business have never done it will say, oh, if they gave guys time off, it would be better for them or whatever. But it's honestly, having done this for 20 plus years, time off is your worst enemy. It really is. It makes it so much harder to do this. When you're doing it all the time, it's like a callus. You're doing it and it doesn't bother you. You're functioning and you can do it every night. When you haven't done it, getting in there and doing the simplest thing, you're like, oh my God, why am I doing this again? You've got to get yourself back in the process of getting back in the ring, and the hardest part of doing that is it's easy to go through that stuff when you've got 80,000 people screaming at you. It's not so easy when you're in a warehouse with a ring set up all by yourself. It hurts a whole lot more.
The adrenaline just doesn't kick in as easy.
Well, he's looking at it from the physical aspect, but what about the mental aspect of working, I mean, literally with no days off for months at a time and really seeing no end in sight? And I guess that's I think more of what people are kind of going to. I mean, any other profession, there's some sort of a vacation or an off season or something. It's not like taking time off. You're just gonna go and sit on the couch and eat bonbons. You're still gonna be keeping yourself in shape. It's not like you're totally taking away from it. It's just that daily grind of getting up and hopping on a bus to go to this airplane to go to this city to wrestle again, and then doing it. It wears on you after a while.
That is true.
I mean, just looking at it from the outside, I'd be worn down. I can't imagine actually doing it.
I want to do it, and I know all of the facts. Well, not all, but I know a lot about what goes on, and I still want to do it. And people are surprised. Like, I tell people.
Yeah, I know there's a few screws loose up there. It's okay.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's a lot of screws loose. But All
right, let's take care of some business. We'll come back. We'll get back to the phones. We'll have our predictions certain to go wrong. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, March 28. On this date in 1999, the WWF held its WrestleMania 15 pay-per-view. In the main event, Steve Austin pinned The Rock in a no disqualification match to win the WWF Championship. On this date in 2005, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Fort Worth, Texas. In the main event, Shawn Michaels defeated Muhammad Hassan by disqualification. On this date in 2010, WWE held its WrestleMania 26 pay-per-view. In the main event, The Undertaker pinned Shawn Michaels in a no count-out, no disqualification streak versus career match. Due to his loss, Michaels was forced to retire from professional wrestling. This has been Today in Wrestling History, March 28. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Lucas the intern. It's WrestleMania weekend. Everybody's getting involved. Let's get right back to the phones. Let's get to Sean, who's been waiting patiently. Sean, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Hey, Fearon, how are you?
Not too bad.
I just want to touch on something that you were just talking about, the injury.
Yeah.
It was a crazy injury. You would assume anything in wrestling like that could happen to anybody at any time. like you said, if you're close enough to wrestling matches to see them when it does go wrong and you have to take it home, it's scary the way they have to reel it up. And all the wrestlers, I thought in the video, were interesting how they each interacted and the referee had to interact. And when you see that live and they have to take it home like that, it's interesting to see how all the wrestlers do interact. They had no clue there was something wrong with that, at least with the wrestler. Didn't you feel the same way?
There was definitely some confusion, and it's kind of hard in the midst of a match to kind of break your flow, just to kind of go, hey, is he all right? Or, hey, what's going on here? It's a very difficult thing to do.
The other thing I wanted to touch on was the time off. Remember when Kurt Angle got hurt and the WWE released him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, I think at that point he was also dealing with some possible painkiller issues as well.
Correct, but didn't he pick right back up with the...
he went right over to TNA and picked right back up.
Yeah, and there was no time off. He didn't take anything, and he was basically hurt and not sure what was going on. I'm sure it came to a point where he didn't take any time off, and if there's somebody who could have, it could have been him.
Yeah, I think it's just it's I guess that mindset as a competitor that you don't want to miss out on the action.
Right, but other people from outside of the sport are going, well, they don't even have any time off, this and that. That's the one case I could easily show that they released him. He could have easily taken all the time he needed, and he did.
And they just said, you know what, we can't be bothered with you.
What's that again?
I said, and WWE said, all right, well, if you want time off, we can't be bothered with you, and that's why they gave him his release.
Right. It's so crazy of a sport or an entertainment or a business. It's just crazy. Real quick, Worldwide Wrestling Alliance, April 11th is their 35th anniversary show. So that's going to be a big deal up there.
Oh, nice. Is that's over in Gilbertsville, the Zern's Farmers Market?
Yes, sir. The hometown. And there's just a ton of wrestlers that are coming in. So just check out the Worldwide Wrestling, or the WWWA. For more information. It's going to be a great night.
Yeah, they do some fantastic shows. It's been a while since I've been out there. I got to. I've been kind of branching out to different independent circuits. There's the Monster Factory. There's Pro Wrestling Syndicate. There's ECWA. It's great to be in this area because there's just a hotbed of local professional wrestling.
Absolutely, it's nice to have options.
It most certainly is. Anyway, thanks so much, Sean, for the call. Appreciate it as always. Good talking to you. It's been a little overdue. Definitely a little overdue. All right, before we get into our predictions, let's get Ed from Northeast Philly up here. Ed, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Good afternoon. Happy Easter.
I was going to say, Easter's next week. That's I was going to say, making sure I'm not a week ahead of myself.
Tonight or tomorrow night is mixed roast beef. The same man is hosting a WrestleMania pay-per-view party starting at 5 p.m.
That's right, over at Nick's Roast Beef in Northeast Philly.
Yeah, 2200 Cotman Avenue.
That's certainly a fun way to watch WrestleMania.
Yeah.
With somebody who's obviously a Philadelphia wrestling institution from his days with ECW.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll keep the Singapore cane at bay.
$29.99 for full buffet and beer, and $19.99 for just a buffet.
Huh? Should definitely be a good time.
And On Point is coming to OCW Arena in Williamstown on April 18th.
Oh, very good. Oh, that's right. That's only 3 weeks away. On Point.
7:30 p.m. bell time.
Yeah, that should be a fun show as well. I know we were looking to get out to the last one. I think that one I'll have to look at the schedule to see if I'd love to be able to make it out to that one. It's been a while since I've seen Tremont. That's another guy definitely want to check out.
That's about it.
All right, thanks so much for the call.
I have another call on hold.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're close. The time is going rapidly here. Thanks so much for the call, as always. All right, where do we? Let's get into the predictions, or
I think there was one. We teased the tap out story.
Yeah, we that's right. We teased a couple of stories. We'll have to go through them. But you want to talk about the Tap Out thing?
So WWE announces a new deal with Tap Out, and so WWE and Authentic Brands, they announced that on Wednesday they joined together with Tap Out for a new fitness lifestyle brand. So
okay.
They're now official fitness and training partners with the WWE, and they will now be, it says here, they will now be integrated across WWE's global platforms, including TV programming, WWE Network, pay-per-view broadcasts, live event, digital, and social media.
Yeah, I think that they're also going to be outfitting, like even down in NXT, they're going to be wearing Tap Out gear now.
So does that mean, like, the Tap Out, they're going to be making the WWE shirts now?
I guess that would make sense. Wonder if that means there's going to be another price hike. I don't know. Anyway, I teased this earlier too. Gene Simmons of Kiss teaming up with WWE Studios. Kiss bassist Gene Simmons and WWE Studios are teaming to launch Erebus, I don't know, Pictures with a 3-picture co-production deal. The first film will begin filming this summer. It's called Temple. No relation to the university. Simmons expressed his interest in horror movies via Variety.com, saying, quote, "The horror genre continues to fascinate me as it proves to be endlessly thrilling and engaging for audiences." So, Gene Simmons writing some horror flicks.
Wouldn't surprise me.
How about that? All right. WrestleMania play button, and our predictions certain to go wrong. 2 matches now for the pre-show. First off, the tag titles.
Yes.
Tyson Kidd and Cesaro defending against Los Matadores, The New Day, Big E and Kofi, and the Usos in a fatal 4-way match.
Yeah, that's
I don't know. I'm leaning toward Tyson and Cesaro retaining.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Either Tyson and Cesaro, or either Tyson and Cesaro or the Usos. I think those are the two.
Well, who you got? You got to pick one.
I'm gonna say Kidd and Cesaro.
You're going Kidd and Cesaro. Okay. Yeah, we're closing up again, so we're going to kind of move through these fairly quickly. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. 20 participants are announced. Going through these real quick, we've got The Miz, Curtis Axel, Ryback, Fandango, Adam Rose, Zack Ryder, Jack Swagger, Titus O'Neil, Darren Young, The Big Show, Kane, Eric Rowan, Damian Mizdow, Sin Cara, Goldust, Heath Slater, Mark Henry, Connor and Victor of the Ascension, and Hideo Itami, who won the tournament this past Thursday at WrestleMania Access.
This is a battle royal, and we have 3 possible picks. If you remember the rules for that, or 2. I'm just gonna go 2 this time. I'm gonna say it's either. I'm gonna say because it would make a great angle, which I think either Mizdow wins it, or I think either Mizdow wins it, or Hideo Itami maybe. Like, I could definitely see, Hideo Itami, or actually in a dark horse Ryback. That would be my 3rd pick.
All right, Mizdow or Itami. And all right, I'll give you Ryback in there as well. I'm thinking either Mizdow or Axelmania running wild, brother.
Oh, I forgot about that. That could definitely
I know, it's got you all kinds of backwards on it.
Yeah.
Now to the actual show. 7 matches and probably some concerts and other things thrown in there to fill the 4 hours. Randy Orton against Seth Rollins.
Orton. Orton wins, but then maybe, I'll have a prediction for the main event later, including Seth Rollins.
All right, I'm leaning toward Orton as well. For the ladies, AJ Lee and Paige against the Bella Twins.
Paige runs wild.
As do... Moving on.
Yeah.
Rusev defending the U.S. title against John Cena.
Lol, Cena wins.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you there. How can Cena not win at WrestleMania? All right.
Well, he's done it before. It's happened.
Oh, yeah, it has happened before. You're right. He's not undefeated. The Intercontinental title ladder match. Bad News Barrett defending against R-Truth, Dean Ambrose, Luke Harper, Dolph Ziggler, Stardust, and Daniel Bryan.
You know, this is just out of the blue, but I feel like Barrett's going to retain because and of course, it makes sense, so WWE's probably not going to do it, but, you know, Barrett's been getting the title stolen from him left and right. So maybe, Barrett wins the title, retains, and then loses it the next night on Raw, going like, yeah, this is this is mine. It's here to stay.
Gotcha. All right. In the in the battle of the combined age of just over 100, Sting against Triple H.
Sting.
I've been back and forth on this. And the main thing is, why put all this build up into Sting just to have him lose in his one match? But Vince doesn't let the competition win ever. And since they're playing so much of this WCW hype from 14 years ago, when you were maybe just barely potty trained, I don't know why anybody cares about that. I think this is just all Vince's head, and I hate to do it, but I'm going with Triple H.
Triple H.
All righty, and Taker and Bray.
Taker.
I think Taker gets his redemption.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Even if Bray Wyatt loses, he's still going to have the fact that he wrestled a he's got to get some sort of some significance of a push, whether he loses or not.
Fair enough. And the main event, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I will, or eat, sleep, defeat the Samoan, repeat.
Okay, so both scenarios for me end in a cash-in situation.
You're going cash in. Oh, well,
Reigns wins at Mania, Rollins cashes in, or Lesnar retains. Then the next.
Which are you going with?
Reigns winning, Rollins cashes in that night. I mean, the other scenario could definitely be though Lesnar wins, and then the next night on Raw gets obliterated, and Rollins. Yeah.
All right, I'm going with Lesnar to retain the title. I think they're going to hang on to that briefcase for just a little bit longer. We've got 25 seconds real quick for birthdays.
Yay.
On this date in 1958, Frederick Seawright was born. The former three-time USWA World Tag Team Champion Brickhouse Brown turns 57 today. Same date, same year, Curtis Hennig was born. Former two-time WWF Intercontinental Champion and 2007 Hall of Famer, passed away in 2003 at the age of 44. Also on this date, the Warlord turns 53. Umaga, well, he passed away in 2009, and the country music star Reba McEntire, who sang the national anthem for WrestleMania 8, she turns 60 today. Speaking of country music, Nick Catali's got it next. We're on our way to the Monster Factory. Enjoy WrestleMania, everyone. We'll be back next week here on WBCB.
Serving you better than ever before. This is 1490 WBCB.